Good evening and welcome to UCTV News. I'm Lianne Zana.
And I'm Kristina Carretero.
Marvel Comics creator Stan Lee passed away Monday at the age of 95. Lee was a pop culture icon with cameos in most Marvel movies and a hand in creating many of the superheroes we know today. He was behind characters such as Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Black Panther, and is credited with helping to make the superhero genre as popular as it is today. This is not, however, the last we will hear from Stan Lee. IGN reports that his part in Infinity Wars 2 was filmed prior to his death, meaning we will see him on the silver screen at least one more time.
42 people have died in the Northern California wildfire. According to CNN, it is now the most deadly and destructive wildfire in the state's history. 21 million residents in Southern California have also received warning this Tuesday for hurricane-force gusts that are predicted to fuel and spread the catastrophic blaze. More than 300,000 people have been evacuated from their homes statewide. State investigators say the cause of the wildfires is still unknown.
Police are investigating a Wisconsin prom photo taken last spring in which students are giving the Nazi salute. The image went viral after it was posted on Twitter Sunday night. The photograph was taken on the steps of a local courthouse before the Baraboo High School junior prom, where 60 male high school students are making what appears to be a Nazi salute. The superintendent of the school district, Lori Mueller, says that if the gesture is what it appears to be, the district will pursue all appropriate actions to address the issue. Up next, UCTV reporter Gaston Neville gets the inside scoop on a provoking demonstration for transgender rights at Fairfield Way. Stick around.
Think of UConn education abroad is stores everywhere globally.
It wasn't like she was just going off on her own. She was part of a very well-structured program. It was put together by the university. They took care of all the housing and arrangements and everything. So the highlight, for her was just kind of that independent experience. Like I said, she was a very confident and mature individual before she went, but when she came back, much more independent.
It's a life-changing experience. It's a transformative experience. Students will study abroad and suddenly they'll be part of the minority. They'll be the different one. They'll be the one with the strange accent and the different way of looking at things. And that really opens their eyes.
From the parent perspective, I can understand, and I certainly had some hesitation sending my child to another country, where there's not a lot of oversight. But I honestly think that it's one of the best opportunities that a student can do while they're here at UConn. Although there is that hesitancy that sometimes parents have, they also need to know that there is the support. There was a situation that I had a concern about while Matthew was in Italy, and I was able to talk to the education abroad staff here, and they were very attentive, and it got resolved very quickly.
As much as we can know where our students are. They have cell phone coverage, they have local leaders, local contacts, they have travel insurance in case of emergencies. We can evacuate them, we can bring them home. And we also constantly keep students apprised about what's going on around their neighborhood, in their communities. And we also let the parents know what's going on, and the parents can call us anytime.
For parents that are reluctant about it or hesitant about it, the change you'll see in your student when they go through this process and come back is just remarkable and certainly well worth it. When she came back, all we heard about was, we did this in Italy and it was so much better in Italy. And I'm like, at one point I almost wanted to say to her, why don't you just go back to Italy?
Hi, I'm Gaston Neville for UCTV News. In response to a hostile political landscape for trans individuals, a few UConn students have come together on Fairfield Way to raise awareness about trans rights and LGBTQ rights to their fellow UConn peers. Let's go check it out. it was revealed that the Trump administration is planning to define sex by either male or female, completely unchangeable. If put into effect, this would erase the identities of 1.4 million transgender Americans. The leak has caused outrage amongst the trans community.
Someone who identifies as transgender would actually lose the privileges of even general health care protection. So even going in, if you got the flu or something, you could be denied protections and being served.
So we were laying down to represent the thousands of trans people who have either been murdered, been denied health care and died, or who have committed suicide as a result of the general transphobia in our society.
During the end of the demonstration, an individual came up to one of the demonstrators on the ground and pretended to stomp on their face while they were laying down. When asked what he was doing by a volunteer, he responded with, "I was trying to see if they would flinch."
I heard a really loud scraping noise right next to my ear, and I opened my eyes and there was a guy standing above me, but he wasn't looking at me, but he was just standing there, and he goes, "I want to see if they'll flinch."
To attack or try to scare people who are in the middle of a demonstration, you have a lot of rights. Assaulting people is not one of them.
The student demonstrators say that this was only a minor blimp and insist that the main purpose of raising awareness about trans rights was successfully communicated to the UConn students at Fairfield Way.
Honestly, I think the biggest reason why we're doing something like this is just because the general UConn community doesn't know about the issues faced by the trans community. There's an overwhelming lack of understanding that people don't even know that the memo that Trump released 2 weeks ago is a thing. Bringing something like this to the center of campus facilitates the initiation of a conversation that might not have been there before.
Looks like we have a long way to go for trans rights. The demonstration held today at Fairfield Way seemed to be an important part of trans visibility, especially here at the UConn campus. For UCTV News, I'm Gaston Neville.
The University of Connecticut Board of Trustees welcomed its new undergraduate student, Nandan Tamu, to the board. Tamu won with 51% of the votes. Tamu is a fifth semester computer science major who was previously the Speaker of the Senate in the undergraduate student government. Tamu is replacing Kristina Savino, the current trustee who will be graduating this fall.
2 buildings on the store's campus were evacuated late last week in 2 unrelated incidents. The Daily Campus reports that the Philip E. Austin building was evacuated Thursday after a fire alarm was activated, and the Gordon W. Tasker building was evacuated Friday after reports of a strong gasoline smell. The Daily Campus talked to university spokeswoman Stephanie Roots, who said no injuries were reported. She said the Austin building fire alarm was due to a steam leak in the basement, and the gasoline smell in the Tasker building was from gasoline-filled blowers being used outside the building.
A retired UConn professor has died from a rare neurological disease. Sociology professor and director of the honors program, Lynn Goodstein, died in her home on Monday. Goodstein retired in May 2018 to spend more time with her grandchildren, according to her family.
Up next, we'll hear UConn students' reactions to results of the midterm elections from UCTV News reporter Kristina Carretero. Stick around.
The midterm election results are in, and the Democrats have gained 32 seats in the House of Representatives, making them the majority party. According to Politico, this has been the highest voter turnout of a midterm election since 1966. The Republican Party remains the majority in the Senate after gaining 2 more seats during the midterm election. Today, we'll talk to students about the midterm election results, voter turnout, and who they hope to see run for president in 2020. What are your thoughts on the outcome of the midterm election?
Well, it's kind of good that not one party controls Congress anymore, but I'm scared how divided the country is. They're not going to be able to do anything.
Nationally, I wasn't too shocked to see the Democrats take the House back, but for Connecticut, I was kind of shocked to see that we didn't become a red state for the first time in a while.
I think that we really did make a lot of strides forward in terms of getting more women involved in Congress as well as minorities.
In general, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I voted for Lamont, and I'm glad he won Connecticut, and I'm glad in general that the Democrats took the House.
So this has been the highest voter turnout for a midterm election since 1966. Why do you think that so many people came out to vote this midterm election?
To get Trump out of office.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he pretty much scared everyone, so now they actually doing their part.
People actually realize that, there's a big impact of voting, so.
I think seeing the election in 2016, I feel like that may have influenced a lot more people to vote. Maybe they thought that, or they realized that their votes do matter.
I think after our country's in turmoil, especially after the last presidential election. So I think it's pretty important that everybody comes out to show and make voting cool again.
Probably people are really starting to get involved, especially millennials and people our age.
Social media was kind of pushing people to vote. I've seen a lot of stuff on Snapchat and on Facebook telling me it's voter day today.
Who are you hoping will run for presidency in 2020?
I'm really hoping Joe Biden does. I don't know if he will, but
Joe Biden or Mitt Romney again. I think they provide a good middle ground.
Tulsi Gabbard. I think she's a good liberal Democratic candidate, and I think that she has a platform that a lot of people could get behind, just like Sanders in the last presidential election.
I could see Chris Murphy, Connecticut. Cory Booker maybe probably run.
Akon.
Akon. Yes,
I think Akon for president 2020. Akon for president. This guy raised $1 billion himself for solar panels and using solar power in Africa, and for the ability to be able to do that in terms of public relations, fundraising, and having to deal financially with that, and just being the awesome person that Akon is, I think he'd be a great president, better than the one we have right now.
Reporting for UCTV News, I'm Kristina Carretero.
A Connecticut state trooper was arrested and charged with driving under the influence on Norwich Sunday. 34-year-old Sarah Starkey of Troop E was leaving the Harp and Dragon pub when she was pulled over after police received a report of an erratic driver on West Main Street. Starkey's blood alcohol content was 0.16, which is 2 times over the legal limit. According to Eyewitness News, Starkey, who has been with state police since 2013, was suspended on Tuesday and is out on bond after posting a $250 bail.
A Trinity College student died Monday at the age of 23. According to NBC Connecticut, Chase Hyde, who is a member of the class of 2019, fell ill on Sunday and was found unresponsive with a weak pulse in the following morning. State police report that the cause of death has not yet been determined.
A young Connecticut boy spent his birthday celebrating those serving our country. 6-year-old Owen Zavante requested that his friends bring presents for soldiers instead of for himself so that he can make care packages for service members. According to NBC Connecticut, the Zavantes plan on sending the goods from Owen's party to service members in time for the holidays. A Columbia University professor came to UConn to talk about writing better and President Trump. UCTV News reporter Khalil Rahman has the story.
I'm here outside of the Philip Austin building, home to UConn's creative writing program.
Earlier this semester, nationally renowned poet and professor at Columbia University, Shane McCrae, visited UConn for the annual Aetna Writer-in-Residence program. McCrae spent the week at UConn where he met with selected creative writing students to give them one-on-one feedback on their work.
It was nice to have somebody from the outside get to see my work.
On Wednesday, McCrae read some of his poems from his most recent book, In the Language of My Captor, which won the 2018 Ansfield Wolf Book Award for Poetry and was a finalist for the National Book Award.
Forgiven by the rainbow into life, the creatures climbed at dusk, now on their faces, that bore no sign of the life of the sun before.
He also read an excerpt from his upcoming poetry book, The Gilded Auction Block, which will be released on February 12th of next year. Much of McCrae's new book was inspired by the 2016 election.
The book is about America today. A lot of it's about Trump. It was
mostly written in response to Trump's election.
McCrae was also kind enough to give advice to aspiring writers.
I think you should read as much as you possibly can. Figure out ways to read more than you think. Don't be afraid of imitation. When you're young, imitation is very important to figuring out who you are as a writer and also to figuring out how to do certain things.
UConn's English department offers dozens of creative writing courses, open to all majors. Any students who are interested in taking a creative writing course can visit the Austin building or speak to Professor Sean Forbes, director of UConn's creative writing program.
Reporting for UCTV News, Khalil Rahman.
CNN is suing the White House and the President of the United States after CNN chief White House correspondent Jim Acosta sparred with Donald Trump at a post-midterm press conference last week. Trump called him a rude, terrible person. According to CNN, Donald Trump, Chief of Staff John Kelly, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications Bill Shine, Secret Service Director Joseph Clancy, and the Secret Service officer who revoked Acosta's White House pass are all defendants in the case, saying that CNN and Acosta's First and Fifth Amendment rights were violated.
Former Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel said Monday that President Trump's decision to not attend a ceremony at an American burial ground in France because of rain let down our country. Trump was in Paris with other world leaders and faced criticism for not going to the cemetery, but the decision for him not going was made by military and security officials who were worried about his helicopter flying in low cloud cover in the rain. Trump did not make any statements of regret for not attending the cemetery.
Democratic Representative Kyrsten Sinema will win Arizona's Senate race after the last 24 years of Arizona being a Republican state. Trump tweeted Friday saying that electoral corruption was taking place in Arizona. Votes are still being counted due to the fact that almost 3/4 of Arizona's ballots are cast by mail, according to CNN. Sinema's lead continues to increase as mailed-in ballots are counted. She will be Arizona's first female senator. I'm Kristina Carretero.
And I'm Lianne Zana. Thank you for watching UCTV News. We'll see you next time.